this is your episode. He had a chance. He could have been on here. So, he had a chance to defend himself.
Yeah.
But so he's going to take some slings and arrows now.
Welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. Here's your host, Scott Cowan.
All right, well, welcome back to this episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast. This is yet another episode with technical difficulties to get us started. Not that you, the audience, need to know that, but hey, Kinga's sitting here with me, and she's been really patient as we sorted out tech. But my guest today is Kinga Borkowski, and Kinga is Chef Kinga of Good Morning Tacos. And before I let you talk, I'm going to say I was on your website, and you said one thing on your website that I would have thought controversial, but actually it's not. So, but first coffee. I always say, but first coffee. Your website says, but first tacos.
To each
you might
their
be
own,
onto something. You might be onto something. So, Kinga, tell my audience a little bit about you and tacos.
So I actually did not start doing tacos. I started going to nursing school. That was close to 20 years ago. Very short-lived. Honestly, I realized I was way too emotional. Cried way too many times. But I've been cooking for my family for such a long time. And I realized that cooking is my way to help people.
Okay.
And I enrolled in culinary school, the Cordon Bleu, rest in peace. It's no longer existent.
Oh, really? Sucks. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yes. The only one that's open is the one in Paris.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you went to Le Cordon Bleu in
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago.
Well, let me stop you. You said you were cooking for your family. So did you grow up in a household where food was a big deal?
Yes, for sure. Breakfast was the biggest meal of the day. Really? It was, that was probably the only time we were all able to sit at the table and, chit chat and talk about what our day's been like, our week.
So what was a typical, so I grew up in a household, and my dad would joke that the only thing my mother knew how to make in the kitchen was reservations. I grew up in, I probably ate at more restaurants than any of my friends combined, frankly. I mean, 4 to 5 nights a week, we would eat out for dinner. My mom she's not a cook. She doesn't like to cook. So whenever I hear somebody who, like, I was cooking for my family, or we'd gather together at the table, and I'd be like, I don't have a real great frame of reference for that. So what was breakfast like in your household growing up?
Breakfast was either scrambled eggs with a bunch of bacon fat in there, or we would have
as it should be.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Open face sandwiches, which is very Polish.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like ham, cucumber, slice of cheese, a little bit of mayo. That's usually what breakfast consisted of.
Okay, so I have a friend whose wife is Danish, and they'd kind of do this open face sandwich thing also. And I'm a little perplexed. So help me out. How long has your family been in the States? First off, let's go.
30 years.
Okay,
this year.
Recently. Okay. So they moved from Poland to Chicago?
Yes.
Okay.
From Poland to Chicago. Yep.
Okay. So help me out, even though it's a Washington State show and we're talking about Poland and Chicago already, but what the heck? Open face sandwiches, cucumbers and all that for breakfast. That seems, to me, that seems odd. Okay. To you got this smile on your face, and it's, how do you think that came about? Open face sandwiches for breakfast. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like my grandparents ate open face sandwiches for breakfast, lunch. Honestly, they even did supper. It's just constant sandwiches on carbs on carbs on carbs.
Carbs on carbs on carbs. Okay.
Yes.
So was there a type of bread? I mean, were we just using Wonder Bread, or is there? I'm kidding. Hopefully,
It's always rye.
Always rye, like a light rye or a dark rye? Light or dark?
Dark for sure.
Okay. All right. So kind of hearty.
Yes.
Very
bread. Much so. Yes.
Okay. A lot of carbs. All right. So this is what you grew up with: scrambled eggs with bacon fat, which
yes,
you can put bacon fat in just about anything, frankly. Just saying. And open face sandwiches. And what else? So how young were you when you started participating in food prep in the kitchen?
I'm going to say I was as young as 7.
Okay. So a little kid.
Yes, very little.
Okay.
But I definitely did not enjoy cooking for maybe, I'm going to say until I was like 14 or 15. It was a chore.
What do you think changed?
I'm going to say just seeing the smile on my family's face.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't always follow, my mom's recipe. I would kind of go off and do my own thing. And my mom would be like, oh my goodness, this is so delicious. What did you do? I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just eat,
Don't ask.
Don't ask. Just eat.
Okay. All right. So you went through school, and you after high school and all that, did you go straight from high school like into nursing, or what did you do after high school?
Yes. Okay. High school to nursing, and like I said, very short lived. And I decided I need to do something with my life, and let me just I ended up going to culinary school, and right out of culinary school, I worked at the highest volume Italian restaurant in Chicago, Cortino, which I still miss a lot.
Okay.
Yes. And from there, I just, I went to work at a few restaurants at the largest restaurant group in Chicago, Let Us Entertain You. I also helped launch a few restaurants in both Chicago and Seattle.
What was the connection? I mean, the same ownership group?
No.
Okay.
No, it's Chicago. It was actually a different restaurant group. And then when I moved here, I helped launch Dreamland out in Fremont. Okay. Yes.
Well, I have to give you a hard time because you acknowledge that you're a Chicago Bears fan. So I have to just give you a hard time because I'm a Seahawks fan, and you just went to the game and hey, it was preseason, it didn't count. But so why did you leave Chicago? Because I'll go on record and say that, in my opinion, I think Chicago's the best American city. I love going to Chicago. So I don't know that I'd want to be there in winter.
No.
But why did you leave Chicago?
Just like many people, my husband got a job with Amazon. So when Amazon called, you go. That's the only reason why we moved.
Okay, so you moved from Chicago. You moved here because of Amazon. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how do you like it in Washington?
I'm going to say I love Washington more than I love other parts. Like I don't necessarily love Seattle.
Okay.
But, East Side, we've lived on the East Side since we moved here.
The East Side, just for clarification,
East Side,
east of Lake Washington, not Eastern Washington.
Yes. Okay. Meaning Bothell, Mill Creek, Everett. Yes.
Okay. And you like living on the east side of the lake?
I do. I do. I also love, wine country in Woodinville. Can't beat that.
Okay. What do you miss about Chicago?
I think we discussed this. I absolutely miss Wrigleyville. I love going to, I miss Cubs games. I miss the bars, the rooftops, the food. Actually, I'm going to say that I miss food the most in Chicago.
Really?
The food scene, yes.
Okay, so if I could magically snap my fingers and put you back in Chicago right now, where it would be 5:00 Chicago time, so dinner, and you could go anywhere for a meal in Chicago, where would you go?
I am going to Lumonati's for deep dish pizza.
And what? Oh, okay, what would you have with that deep dish? What type of deep dish pizza?
Deep dish with sausage patty, bell pepper and onion, extra cheese. That is our go-to every time we're there.
Okay. So this probably has nothing to do with deep dish pizza, but this is a pizza question. Very simple. It's a yes or no answer. Pineapple, yes. Pineapple, no.
No way. No way.
We can continue the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love pineapple. I love pizza. I don't like them together.
No.
It's just not my thing. Okay. Have you found pizza in the Seattle area that is acceptable? I don't want to say it's going to be, because if you're a deep dish fan, we're not going to compete with that. But have you found pizza in Seattle that you like?
Yes. We actually went to West Seattle, Moto. I believe Moto's been around for, I'm going to say a year. Fantastic. So that one's Detroit style. But I'm going to say that's the best pizza we've had in Washington.
Yeah. So Detroit style is something that I hadn't heard of until fairly recently. And I don't think of, so when I think of Chicago, I think of food and art. When I think of Detroit, I think of cars. So I don't think of food. What, in your opinion, is Detroit style pizza? What's going on there?
Detroit style pizza, I would say, is a thick crust, a little bit of cheese and topping, right? Whereas Chicago style it's a thin crust and a bunch of cheese. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Right. Okay.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Chicago. I kind of like cheese. Cheese is good. Okay. So you moved out here for your husband's work, and you said you opened a couple of restaurants in Seattle. So when you moved out here, was it easy for you to find work in the restaurant industry?
It was. Yes, it was. But I definitely was picky on where I wanted to work. I did help launch Dreamland out in Fremont. And then I worked at June Baby, and then automatically from there transitioned to Microsoft to do corporate catering.
Okay, so you see the funny look on my face. You go from a Dreamland, June Baby to Microsoft. And
Yes.
When I think of corporate catering, I'm kidding here when I say this, please don't take offense, but I think of like lunch lady, food, slopping it on the plate. I don't think of corporate catering. And
It's
I know
very
that's wrong.
elegant.
I know it's wrong. But that's where my brain goes. The whole fish sticks and tater tots and canned peas. Ugh. So, let's talk about Microsoft catering. What was going on there? Was this like banquet events, or is this regular stuff, or what was your day-to-day like at that?
So we actually made breakfast, whether it was breakfast or lunch or dinner, for meetings that were happening for the executives that worked at Microsoft. We were based in Bellevue. So
open face sandwiches?
No. This was actually very elegant. You would have like branzino with like a mint, tomato, cucumber salad. It was actually fantastic food. Breakfast would be frittatas, overnight oats. It's killer food.
Okay, all right.
Not like your lunch lady food.
It's not like canned peas slopped on a metal tray.
No.
All right, and okay, and then why did you leave that job? Was it pandemic related, or was it the tacos came calling and you couldn't resist their siren call, or what was that reason?
So I was actually let go during COVID. And it was then that I decided, it's now or never. Either I start my own business or I probably never will.
Okay.
I didn't want to report to anyone. I wanted to be my own boss and, bring my own creations to Seattle.
Okay. Why tacos?
Why not? So
Well played.
like I said,
Well played.
yeah. So like I said, breakfast was a very important meal to my family, and scrambled eggs were a big component of that. So why not, combine breakfast, scrambled eggs with a tortilla and ingredients such as bacon, chorizo, pulled pork, which is not yet on the menu, but hopefully will be one day.
Okay.
And
I vote for that.
Potatoes, and a delicious salsa or hot sauce.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is what I know about you. So help me out. Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
European food style. Okay. Open face sandwiches, right? Eastern European influence. Come to Seattle. Open up some restaurants. Catering. Why not is not, I can't let you off the hook with why not. So breakfast, I get that part, but you could have done traditional breakfast, could have done breakfast burritos, you could have done, but why pair it with tacos? What was the inspiration?
That would be the multiple trips I took to Austin with my husband throughout the years. Oh my God, the amount of little taco shops we would go to. I'm going to say that it's mostly, all the trips that I've taken to Austin, and I realize Seattle doesn't have breakfast tacos, so let's do it.
Okay. All right. So the way we got connected was I read an article in the Seattle Times where you were mentioned, reached out to you via email. During that period of time, I saw that you had a blurb on Evening Magazine. Okay. But before the Seattle Times article, I did not know that breakfast tacos were an Austin thing. Just didn't know. Why do you think Austin's embraced the taco? Because I think it's brilliant. I mean, look, there's no, please do not think anything I'm saying is negative, because I think what you're doing is awesome. But why do you think Austin picked tacos?
I'm going to say that has a lot to do with the Mexican heritage.
Okay.
Yes.
But like Dallas doesn't have a morning taco scene. When I go to Dallas, I don't get morning tacos.
I actually have no idea why Austin.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm just.
Yeah.
Why did Austin settle on that? Why not San Antonio? Why not Houston? Why? I mean, it's kind of cool. Austin's got a great music scene. Tacos go great with music, so this is cool. So you travel to Austin. You keep coming back to tacos. How are tacos? I've never been to Austin. Really, one of the low points of my statements.
You must go.
Yeah, and I love music. Texas is a great place. Austin sounds like I should go. How are the tacos during the rest of the day in Austin?
So there are a few locations that, I would say are a go-to. Okay. My God, Valentina's, if you've never heard of Valentina's. They're Tex-Mex. They make their own barbecue, their own brisket, their own pulled pork, their own bacon. Another place is Veracruz. Honestly, a lot of the places that we've been to served breakfast tacos.
All day?
All day.
Okay. All right.
Which I love.
Yeah. No, scrambled eggs and bacon. You can do that. That's a dinner meal too.
And then add some brisket to it and you're set.
Now we're talking. So you get this idea that you want to pair breakfast with tacos and kind of emulate Texas, Austin. Walk me through. I love hearing how businesses get started, and honestly, the pandemic certainly has terrible things associated with it, but so many people were able to, because they didn't have a choice, like strike out on their own. Like, would you have done it if you were still working at Microsoft? You might talk about it, but it's hard to leave that job, that security for the risk of your own thing, right? And many of us are frozen by that. So you took advantage of this situation. How long How long did it take you to put this idea together and launch the first pop-up?
This was 7 months in the making, actually. And
Really?
no, honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, I don't know when I would have started this.
Right.
It pushed me.
Right. No, absolutely.
Sitting at home, being quarantined, not being able to leave, made me really decide, like, let's do it now.
Was your husband working at home at this time too?
Yes.
So you guys were trapped in your place together. Were you like testing recipes on him? And did he ever like say, "I've had enough tacos, no more tacos"?
Never. He honestly,
Okay.
it's been so long, and he's still daily. I'm like, honey, what do you want for breakfast? Breakfast tacos. Like, it's fine, but you don't need. Let's do something else. He's like, no, that's what I want. He loves them, right?
Kudos to him. One of the things I love to ask people is, because I think we learned from it, right? Is what idea when you were building the menu, right? You were testing things out. Not everything worked right? Not everything was a winner. So share with us what, like, an idea that you had that just didn't make it.
I'm going to say the one taco I wanted to make, my first ever breakfast taco I wanted to make that just did not work out, would be the migas, which seems very simple, scrambled eggs with some tortilla chips in there, some jalapenos, some tomatoes, some diced onion. Seems very easy, but honestly, it took me so long. There were so many times I just threw them away. My husband's like, nope, this is not working. This is not working.
What wasn't working about it? Because you're right. It does sound, now if you look at my hands here, these are 11 thumbs. I'm mechanically impaired. I'm not allowed to use sharp instruments. So I'm not allowed to, when my wife hears this, she'll go, no, you're allowed, just get in the kitchen and start cooking. But I am not allowed in the kitchen. Why did that not work? Do you think what was not working? What didn't come together? Because it sounds like all the ingredients would mesh nicely. So what happened?
I'm going to say it was the proportions. You have to have the perfect proportion of egg to tortilla chips. It was, it was like slimy, or it was just like mush, or it was just too watery. It just took a long time. And I knew that if I was going to do the migas, if I was going to put it out, it needed to be perfect. It needed to be exactly like you would find it in Austin, Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
It didn't, okay. But now it does. Okay. That is one of my staple menu items now. Okay.
So when we talked before, and when I showed up to the farmer's market, and you fed me, and again, thank you for the food. Amazing. What's your favorite item on your menu? That's like asking you what your favorite kid is, I know, but what's your favorite item?
Ooh, I am going to say the smoky poblano taco, which you did not have. I believe you had the bacon.
I had the bacon.
You had the bacon, right. Which was very good.
Very good. Amazing.
Honestly, I think they're all good. Otherwise, I wouldn't put them on the menu.
Right. But I'm asking you your favorite. It's okay to have a favorite. I mean, it really, like, what type of ice cream do you like? It's okay to say vanilla or chocolate. It's okay. Yeah. It doesn't mean that the other one's bad. It's just you have a preference. So
smoky poblano. Very simple.
Why for you? What is it about it? What's the flavor that you like there? Is it the smokiness of the poblano?
Yes, smokiness of the poblano. And then I have the cotija cheese, right? So which is also smoky, but has a creaminess. And then that has a salsa verde that I make fresh. For the acidity, it just works perfectly together, which I also realized because we had an event at Fremont Brewing, works perfectly with an imperial stout, if anybody would like to try.
Ooh, that does sound like a flavor. Nice flavor. Now I got to be honest with you. I mean, come on. Now this is just, we all are ingrained. I'm hearing the words imperial stout, taco, and breakfast, which makes me think I'm day drinking, which I struggle with because, I'm not a early morning beer drinker. Okay. So let's go. So it took you 7 months. Let's kind of walk through that. What I'm joking. I know that opening a business in the state of Washington is super easy, no headaches, everything's laid out smooth, perfect. No, I'm kidding. I know it's a nightmare. So we'll skip all that. Menu prep. How long did you spend putting the menu together? Was it the full 7 months? Were you dialing it? And I'm sure you're still making adjustments to it today. You mentioned brisket, or pulled pork, pulled pork as a possibility.
I'm going to say it took me, pulled pork. Hopefully one day I can learn to use a smoker. And because I know smoked meat is also a big part of, Austin cuisine, Austin breakfast tacos. So let me focus on these, and perfecting these, and then I could focus on those.
Right.
Menu wise, it took me 5 months to really get all those menu items down.
And so when you were working on the menu, you're testing them on your husband, testing them on friends too. I mean, your husband's palate, I don't think you just tested it on him, right? It wasn't just the two of you going. I mean, did you bring friends into this?
Yes. This was a full group. I threw this was a Super Bowl. I remember people came over for Super Bowl, and, I made the standard items like wings and whatnot. And I go, hey, we're also going to make breakfast tacos. Tell me what you think. And I have a friend that moved here from Austin a few years ago, and she was actually very important with what worked and what didn't.
So I want to know, how do I get on the tasting menu for future events? Just keep me in mind if you're looking for another palette to like bounce things off of. Just put that out there. So you're bringing people in there. You're fine tuning the menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then what little I know about restaurants is that you have to be able to duplicate it though. It's got to be something you can repeat reliably and consistently, right? You're not okay.
Yes, it is just me, right? So I have all my menus, all my recipes written down, but right now it's just me trying to execute them.
And your husband was there collecting money. Why don't you have him putting tacos together?
No, I've had him put a few dishes together. I think it's best if he stays away from the kitchen.
Okay.
I don't need him burning himself.
This is okay. The salsas, were those? How was that to develop?
That was honestly, I'm going to say, the easiest. Right.
Really?
Yes. So I have tried a bunch of salsas in and around Austin. It's not hard. Some people might argue, but putting together like a salsa verde, a few basic ingredients, you got your tomatillos, you have your garlic, you have your onions, you have your cilantro, right?
Right.
Sometimes put avocado, right? So that was easy. My red salsa, I actually incorporate a locally sourced hot sauce, Woodinville Sauceco. Yes.
Okay.
Based out of Woodinville. I met this guy, which is also from Chicago, which is awesome. So I use his sauce in the salsa roja.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to say that was probably the easiest part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was your first event?
My first event.
Public facing event for this.
Oh my God. That was Woodinville Farmers Market. May 14th. I remember it. I will always remember it.
Once again, we'll go with the negative question. What went wrong? Well, because, what I'm going to guess that something had to have gone, or like you forgot something. I know I would, forget things. So what went wrong? This is just a lesson for all the people that want to, do pop-ups and farmers markets and all that. You're helping educate.
One thing that went wrong is I didn't bring enough eggs, which is a very big part of
Oh.
Yes, I didn't bring enough eggs.
Well, you were at a farmer's market. Couldn't you go get them from a local stand there? I mean, couldn't you run down?
No. See, so part of a farmer's market is you need to have all pasteurized eggs.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So luckily I had a friend that was, on the way. I'm like, please, can you come and get me more eggs? I'm so sorry. So that's one thing that went wrong.
Okay.
Another thing is I underestimated the crowd that I would have half hour prior to opening. So I did fall a little behind, which people understood, which I'm very grateful for. But I did have people waiting 15, 20 minutes for tacos, which I don't like to do. I don't like people waiting.
Right. Well, but you had no frame of reference though. You didn't know. So let me ask you this. What did you think you were going to do that first day? What did you plan for? Like the eggs, like you ran out of eggs. So based on the eggs that you brought, what did you think you were going to do?
Honestly, I went in blindsided. I didn't, I thought being a brand new pop-up, there's no way I could have more than 30, 40 people, but the thing is I had 30 people prior to opening and this event was going on for 5 hours. So
that's terrifyingly awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
It was awesome. No, I didn't.
Terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've learned, I've grown from that one situation.
All right. What went, okay. So I asked you the negative of it. So that first day, what went better than you'd hoped? I mean, besides customer count, that sounds awesome, but what else did you take away from that going, this is really cool. This might be fun for us to do.
All the positive feedback I was getting from the customers, it was amazing. It actually made me tear up. I didn't think I would get so many positive feedbacks, on first day, but you learn, right? There were, of course, I actually did have a few negative, comments from people, but hey, it's fine. More positive than negative feedbacks.
Well, so, all right, let me frame a question this way. You were part of the Dreamland launch, right?
Yes.
So you were part of, opening a restaurant. So there's a whole bunch of uncertainty, chaos, pandemonium, and all that. Was that easier on you than doing your first pop-up on your own?
Yes. I'm going to say Dreamland was definitely easier, right? Because it wasn't just me. This was a team of, 20 people that was putting this together. I was one person in the kitchen out of 10, right? So God forbid something went wrong. There's many other people to fall back on. Right. Whereas this is all me.
Okay.
And my husband.
Right. So that first day, what you said, May 14th?
May 14th.
So after you got done, what did you and your husband say? Like, we did it. We're going to do it again. I mean, were you super jazzed? Like, did you feel like, yeah, this is got potential?
We were very happy, but also very tired. So we're like, this went good. Let's go home. Let's sleep on this and let's talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, next day we woke up and we decided, let's keep doing this.
So did you decide this over breakfast tacos in the morning?
Yes, of course. What else?
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we decided, let's go with this. He's been my number one supporter. He is a cashier, my cashier husband, as I like to call him.
Your cashier husband?
Yes, okay. He's helped me, launch my my website. He runs my Instagram. Amazing. Okay. Yes, he's my rock.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, let's pause here. Let's talk about your husband a little bit. So you guys met in Chicago?
We did, yes.
So
through a mutual friend.
IT... Okay, mutual friend.
Yes.
Okay. Did he grow up in Chicago?
He did, yes.
Okay, so you guys met in Chicago, big city. Not like you bumped into each other on
no
street corner type thing. Okay. And were you in cooking school or were you working in restaurants at that when you met?
No. Yes, this is actually nursing school. That's where I met. That is when. Yes, that's when I met Conrad.
Okay.
He was a club promoter. I liked going clubbing with my friends, and that's where I met this guy. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Conrad, the club promoter. Sorry, that's.
Oh, he's gonna love that. He's gonna love it.
This is your episode. He had a chance. He could have been on here, so he had a chance to defend himself. Yeah. But so he's gonna take some slings and arrows now. No, what? How does one go from? What was his path? I don't mean like this, but what was his path to go from club promoter into IT?
So he's in marketing. So he was going to DePaul University.
Went to DePaul? Okay.
Yeah, he went to DePaul, but he was club promoting while he was going to DePaul. Okay. Right. He also, he ran marketing for some of these clubs, right? Which helped him.
Right.
So no, he's not in IT. So if you ever talk to him, just don't tell him that. Definitely marketing, advertising.
He's marketing and advertising. Yes. Okay. All right. So he's your biggest fan for this. Yes. And I think startup independent 1 or 2 person companies need to have their partners believe in them and support them, because it's super easy. You just work on Saturdays and you sit around the house the rest of the week. You do nothing. I mean, you're running around doing a lot of stuff that in the moment may seem like, why am I doing this? At least that's my world. Does he show up? Does he with you at every event? Every event
that we've had, he has been at.
Okay.
He helps me awesome. load the car, unload the car. He loves talking to people, and I love cooking. Okay.
Sounds like an awesome teammate.
Yeah.
So you did the Woodinville event. Has your menu changed since the very first time?
I have taken one item off and replaced it with migas, which, like I told you, it took a very long time to master, but I made it work, right? And that's one of I do have 4 tacos right now, and that's one of my staple items. Yes.
So let's talk all 4 tacos. Let's walk through them. You've already talked about the smoky poblano. That's your favorite. Migas, you've talked about that. The other 2.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, which is the one you had.
Right.
Right.
I'll give it a big thumbs up.
Awesome. And then I also have Huevos Rancheros con chorizo, which is very hearty, super hearty. The most amount of ingredients, you got black beans, you have chorizo, you have pickled red onions, you have microgreens, you have cotija, and then you have a salsa verde. That one's the most photogenic.
Yeah. Well, also, but it sounds like the most complex to assemble.
Yes.
I mean, if it's just you working this. Okay.
Hey, as long as you have all the ingredients, ingredients prepared prior to the event, there's a term we like to use. It's called sandbagging.
Okay.
Sandbagging is, just as much of each product as possible, right? So you don't have to cook on the spot, right? So you have a decent amount of each ingredient and just made to order.
Well, this is a business question, but in general terms, what's your best selling item?
Our best selling is bacon, egg, and cheese. That is our number 1 item.
So the Northwest is not fully embracing the breakfast taco item. In other words, we still want bacon and eggs and cheese. So we're gonna take a taco, but we're gonna play it safe.
Yes.
I'm kind of kidding. Have you thought about, because I love coffee, have you thought about serving or partnering with a coffee pop-up? Because these are, you're doing these in the mornings at the farmers markets, and great cup of coffee, breakfast taco sounds like an awesome pairing.
We are actually. So we will be doing a pop-up at my favorite coffee shop, Sidekick in Woodinville, which I'm very excited about. That's going to be in 3 weeks.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes, right? So that'll be like a 7 a.m. till 11 a.m., right?
Okay.
Hopefully we can get more people that way.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Sidekick for a second, because one of the questions I always ask is, where's a great place to get a good cup of coffee around you? So that question, so you've disclosed Sidekick Coffee. What's your go-to coffee drink? What do you order when you go there?
I always do a 16-ounce extra hot mocha. That is my go-to every time.
Really?
Yes, it was 95 degrees last week, and I got an extra hot mocha.
Okay. How about your husband? He drinks coffee, right?
Yes,
you got to make sure of that. Okay, so what's his go-to?
He is a triple espresso macchiato guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Not a fan of the extra hot, I'll tell you that, but it's okay. How have you ever tried just their like espresso straight or their drip coffee? How is it?
Oh, it's fantastic. They work with Herkimer, which is based out of University District, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They also do a fantastic cold brew.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, cold brews. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a black coffee or straight espresso guy. I was going to roll my eyes and make fun of you if you said something like, an oat milk latte.
No. No, but I feel like that's how you know when a coffee shop is good, right? It's if the cold brew's fantastic, the drip coffee doesn't taste burnt. That's how you know a coffee shop is legit.
Right. And I think tacos, pairing them with somebody who's doing good coffee it'd be an amazing combo. Now, I also think that the tacos would pair very well with, say, beer after probably noon. But just saying. Where have you had the pop-up at that's been the best place for you? Where's been the best fit? Like this really works really well for us here. Like, so you did the Woodinville Farmers Market. You've done the Lake Forest Park that I know, because that's where I was saw you at. What else are farmers markets a really good fit, or do the breweries working really well?
The breweries have worked very well. Yeah. I'm going to say that our best and most successful was bacon, eggs, and kegs at Lumen Field. This was in June. You were kind of alluding to that. I was going to get there. So what was that event? I hadn't heard of that one before. So it is a annual event that they throw, I believe, I'm going to say 50 food vendors. There's, and then you have mimosas, Bloody Marys, anything you would have in the morning, right? Anything you would eat or drink in the morning. That event was fantastic. Like I told you, when you stopped by, we slung, 2,000 tacos a day, and this was a 2-day event.
That's insane to me. So did you have breakfast tacos the next morning, or were you sick of tacos? Because you could have been sick of tacos after slinging 4,000 of them.
Honestly, we didn't. That was probably the only time we didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, oatmeal sounds pretty good the next day. I could take a break from a taco after. Was it just you preparing 4,000 tacos, or did you have help for this event?
Oh, no. I definitely, I had help. My old boss from Microsoft, and then one of my friends that I worked at Dreamland with. I was lucky to have them with me, but I was the only one that prepped for the event. Commercial kitchen. This was 4 days, prior to the event, 14, 15 hours of prepping. But it was very smooth,
It went smooth?
It went very smooth, actually. Very smooth.
Okay.
And I must admit, I actually did run out of eggs the first day. But this was, I'm going to say half hour before the end of the event. Probably should have learned my lesson. But yeah.
So you might have sold another 200 tacos that day.
Might have. But hey,
wow.
We'll never know.
Right. 4,000 tacos in 2 days.
Yes, 4,000.
Yeah, I'd be burned out. I wouldn't want tacos for a little while. That just burns me out just talking about it, to be honest with you. Like,
we took a week off. We actually took a week off after that, just to kind of regroup,
Right. Help me. This is getting about as detailed as I would go normally, but 2,000 tacos a day at this event. What's a kind of a farmer's market average for tacos in a day?
Average for farmer's market would be 250.
So this is 8 times what you're doing.
Yes.
Basic math.
Yes.
But you're still doing. Okay, wait a second. So help me out. Let's go back to the Montlake Terrace Farmers. No, Lake Forest Park, not Montlake Terrace. Sorry. Lake Forest Park. How many hours is that open?
That is from 10 to 2.
So in 6 hours, you're doing 40 tacos an hour.
So that's 4 hours. So 10 to 2 is 4 hours.
10. Oh,
yeah.
You're doing 60 tacos an hour.
Yes.
One a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
Once
is
again,
easy.
I'm not allowed to.
Easy.
Is it? That
Very
doesn't seem
easy
to me. That seems daunting and overwhelming to me.
You saw me. I was by myself. That was easy.
Yeah, but you weren't. I was early. It was before it was open. So walk me through a busy hour. How many tacos are you preparing at once?
So we do have a ticket system, right? So let's just say I have one ticket with a bacon, and then the next one is bacon and huevos, right? That's where Conrad steps in, and I say, so how many bacon do I have? Another term all day, right? So how many bacon do I have altogether? How many huevos, right? And you just make whatever, right? Versus working on one ticket, you're working on 10 tickets at a time.
So if let's say 10 tickets had 2 tacos each, 10 of them had bacon, so you're making 10 bacon, 5 huevos, and 5 poblano. Okay.
Poblano, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell I haven't worked in a kitchen? But how do you keep all that straight in your head when they're talking to you? Conrad's telling you something. It's not like you get to, I couldn't concentrate. I'd be like overwhelmed, and it wouldn't be pretty. So how do you keep track of this? What's the secret to this?
Honestly, I'm going to say it takes practice. I didn't, doing this for 13 years. I feel like you just learn to master it, right? It's you have to be good at multitasking, right? Okay. Remembering a lot.
Yeah, it's just
not showing your, that you're scared or angry, just have to bottle everything up.
So after college, I took a job and it didn't do well. And so
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's the story of my business career. And that summer, so I dropped out of college because I was given a job offer that was like too good to pass up. And I lasted 89 days. And so here I am, I'm out of college. I managed to get 89 days worth of work experience. Not exactly a marketable guy, right? My dad worked for Nabisco. He was a sales rep for Nabisco. And I said, can you get me a job in the warehouse loading trucks? I just need a job for the summer, just something to make some money. I'll be looking for work. I'll do it for a few weeks. I just need, got to pay the rent. He's like, no, I don't want you to work there. You don't want to do that. Well, I know I don't want to do that, but can you? And I bugged him. And finally he got me a job interview, and the guy offered me a job, telling me I had to come back that afternoon to take a drug test. And I remember going, but I'm supposed to go water skiing this weekend. And, there was some nice words said to me, but basically the thing was, do you want the job or not? Yeah. And so, I start loading trucks, and And so we would walk up and down this conveyor belt, putting Nabisco cookies and crackers on a conveyor belt that would go into the back of a truck where they get stacked. And I would go home and dream this conveyor belt and numbers. And I think if I was working in a kitchen like that, I'd be having nightmares about tacos. So that's just the way it is.
Oh, I hear the tickets. Anytime you say that you think about the conveyor belt. I still randomly, well, I don't anymore, but working in a kitchen, I would come home and I would just hear the tickets, like as if I'm hearing tickets rolling out of a printer.
Yeah. See, I don't think, anyway. So you're doing a pop-up now. So do you like have a van and equipment? And are you working out of a commercial kitchen to get everything staged? Is that the way this all works?
Yes. Everything is prepped in the commercial kitchen, transferred in a cooler or hot box. And a lot of that stuff is, cooked on site.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is what's the next evolution?
We're going back and forth, whether if we want to do a food truck or if we want to go big and, do a brick and mortar. I think we're going to have to see how the rest of the year goes. My goal, my dream has always been to do a food truck. And I thought pop-up would be the perfect place to start, right? No overhead costs, right? You can mess up, like on your menu. If something doesn't work, that's fine. Let's do something else.
Right.
I want to say food truck. My goal, that's what I'm working towards.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, I'm going to give you two what I believe are incredibly realistic media portrayals of the food industry. So which one influenced you? Was it the movie Chef? Right? Did you see that?
I have, yes, for sure.
Okay. Or was it the TV show The Bear?
I would say the Chef.
Because I'm going the food truck, that sounds cool, right? They made it look like it was fun. And then I watched The Bear because I saw this preview and it was supposed to be, this is a funny show. And I'm like, oh, it's the kid from
Shameless.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. And I don't know. I mean, it was funny in spots, but it was exhausting to watch that show. Have you watched it?
Yeah. I don't think it was funny one bit, actually. I think it was very stressful.
Right. It was exhausting to watch. It was like, it wasn't to relax. I watched TV and movies to be relaxed and entertained. The Bear was like, I mean, it was, I hope there's a second season, but it was exhausting. Was that portrayal accurate to restaurant work?
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Honestly,
and
from the
was the okay. It was from our restaurants that chaotic and that stressful and wow.
100%. Honestly, from the have you seen the show or no?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So honestly, everything from the multitasking to yelling at each other to people walking out on you mid-shift, everything is spot on. It happens. So
you seem like a very sweet person. I can't really envision you yelling at people. I don't really see that coming out in you.
I hate to admit it, but I have yelled at people a few times.
Okay.
I try not to, but sometimes you need to.
But sometimes, but then the movie The Chef, that's not realistic at all. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed the show, but there was also, they did a cooking show afterwards where the chef, the real guy who trained the actor with knife work and all this stuff. Have you seen those shows where they're like making the recipes from the show?
Yes. You're talking about the actor from The Chef? Yes.
And then his cooking coach,
Roy Choi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have watched that.
So I thought, so you want to do a truck. So to you, the idea of a truck, why a truck versus brick and mortar? Is it the flexibility that you can
just going, you don't have to necessarily commit to one location. right? With a brick and mortar, right? We are still trying to figure out where we fit best, whether it be Seattle or Woodinville or Bothell or even Issaquah, right? But I'm going to say food truck helps with that, right?
Right. A truck allows you to go and do something at Sidekick Coffee and then go to the Woodinville Farmers Market and go to Issaquah Coffee in Issaquah, just
exactly
randomly.
Exactly.
Places. Okay, now, does a food truck allow you to get away from the commercial kitchen?
No, it does not. You still need the commercial kitchen.
Okay.
Yes.
And are those easy to find?
No. Good ones, no. To be honest with you, it is very hard to find a good one. I stumbled upon a great one in Kirkland. But it is it's sometimes you come across one that's, very small, not enough, you're sharing a walk-in cooler with 10 people, so you have a very small space. So it's not easy.
So that makes me think of the refrigerator in the lunchroom at work where somebody stole your lunch. I mean, is that what's happening? Is that you prepped a whole bunch of stuff and somebody else took it and you're like, now what do I do?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what happens.
So you're gonna work the rest in the time that we're recording. This is late August. So you're gonna kind of spend the rest of the year testing the waters and seeing how the pop-up works, and then maybe decide from there the next step.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully early next year we can transition to a food truck.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick with food truck, not brick and mortar.
So let me ask you this. What does your husband want?
I think he's leaning more towards the brick and mortar.
So would you like my help?
Go for it.
Because you can just repeat, happy wife, happy life. Just remind him of that. And then maybe he'll go for the food truck.
No. He's I'll let him know. But I will definitely let him know.
Yeah. Just trying to welcome to the podcast, free marital advice. It's worth what you pay for it. Absolutely nothing. What is upcoming? So now the goal of this episode is that it's not necessarily they have to be listened to in September to be relevant. So, but what's coming up for fall? Where are you guys going to be popping up at? Do you have anything on the calendar?
The fall we will be, so is fall considered September onwards?
Yes, okay. September onwards. Yeah.
We're going to be doing the pop-up at the coffee shop. We will be ending out Lake Forest Park Farmers Market. We're also going to be at Woodinville Farmers Market on their last day. Honestly, I'm trying to see, where else I can, do pop-ups when it does get colder, right? Because standing outside in 40 degrees isn't ideal. No.
Well, you're from Chicago. It should be, you should be fine.
I guess, yeah.
Put on your big Chicago Bears parka and just,
No, never. We'll see, we'll see how long we can keep this going. We will probably take a few weeks off towards the end of the year, to go visit family and, regroup.
You paused right there. You broke up. What was that?
Oh, I was just saying that, we'll see how long we can keep this going, to see how many more events we can do. We will probably take a few weeks off towards the end of the year to go visit family in Chicago. And,
Oh, yeah. Wintertime in Chicago. Yay.
Great. If it wasn't for family, we wouldn't be there. Trust me.
So what's worse, Chicago, the hot summer or the cold winter?
I'm going to go with cold winter.
Is worse?
Yes.
Okay.
I love summers in Chicago. It's amazing. All these, patio bars. It's amazing. I love it. That is one of the other things I miss.
Okay.
I do not miss driving in the snow.
Okay. All right. So when you're not doing this, what do you guys like to do for entertainment and recreation in Washington?
We like to hike. We like to take long drives to the Cascades. Like 2 weeks ago, we drove up to Mount Rainier. We've done that like 6 times already. Can't get sick and tired of that.
Right.
We do like to, go out to eat on the weekends.
And you want to give some recommendations?
My favorite and my go-to would be Le Coin in Fremont.
Le Coin?
Le Coin, yes.
Okay.
Le Coin. It's a modern French American restaurant.
Okay.
It's high end, but at the same time, it's very low key. Like I was telling Conrad, you could either get a burger and a can of Rainier beer, or you can do oysters and champagne. Depends on what mood you're in.
I'll do the burger and champagne.
Burger. Oh, okay.
Or the oysters and champagne.
Okay.
Rainier beer.
Come on, you're from Washington. You should like it.
No.
Oh, you're a cider person. I forgot you're a cider person.
Well, no, when I was drinking beer, no, Rainier beer was... Ooh. Okay, so do you like beer, right?
I do.
So who's doing some interesting things in beer around here? What are you finding that you like? Because you said imperial stouts. That's, come on, Seattle's like all hazy IPAs, and you're talking imperial stouts. Now those are amazing. I
was looking for pairings, right? So I had to come up with pairings for Fremont Brewing, and that's where I don't necessarily resort to imperial stouts, but I thought that worked great with Poblano. I am a sucker for hazy IPAs, and I really am. I think, Washington does some great. I also love sours, saisons, which I think Fair Isle out in Ballard does amazingly.
Okay. All right. Are you a cider fan?
Yes. I don't love it. I don't love it.
So I'm going to tell the audience, because this is audio, she's kind of making this face like, yeah. She's not selling this one, folks. So
depends on
what
where
type
it's
of
from.
Are you a dry cider fan, or do you like the sweeter ciders? What's your go-to there?
I'm gonna say dry cider. My dry cider from Yonder is probably my go-to.
Okay. They make great ciders.
Very good.
They're a Seattle company, but their production's here in Wenatchee.
So they do. I have been to the Yonder and Bale Breaker in Ballard. Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Do you like hamburgers?
I do. Yes, for sure. I'm not, honestly, I love everything. I love everything.
So where do you go for a burger in Seattle?
Burger in Seattle would be Le Coin.
Ish.
Le Coin.
Okay.
Le Coin.
Really?
I am the burger and can of Rainier beer person at Rainier. Yes. Fantastic burger. I don't know. Probably gonna have to think about where else. Well, that's always my go-to.
So have you been to Seattle's got like Dick's Burgers drive-ins. Have you been to Dick's?
I have.
Burger Master?
Yes. I've been to both. Yes.
All right. Your preference between the two?
I'm going to say.
Be careful. This is a
Dick's.
judgmental question.
It's, I might lose people. I'm going to say Dick's. For sure, Dick's. Yeah.
Me too.
The greasiness of Dick's. Perfect. And I love standing in line. It's amazing standing in line. But Burger Master has a, cool pull up, order from your car, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I miss going there after I love going to see live music. So when we were living on the West Side, I missed, venue closes down, go to Dick's. That was a great nightcap.
Always is.
Right. So hikes, have you gone north? Have you gone up like towards Bellingham or anything like that?
We have, yes. We have gone up to Bellingham. We've done Diablo Lake. Right. So I don't know.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Where else? It's honestly, I love getting into the car and just driving, just seeing where we
Right.
can, because I knew like 2 hours outside of, Seattle, you'll find mountains, whether it's, east, south, right, west.
Well, so not this last weekend, but the weekend I saw you, right? That Sunday, right? So I left the farmer's market and I drove over by the University of Washington, Ship Canal Bridge area. Do you know where the Ship Canal Bridge is?
Yes.
Okay. So I sat down, had a guest there. We sat down, we recorded an episode, broke a microphone. And I had to go to Tacoma that evening to sit with another group of musicians to record episode. It took me 2.5 hours to go from the Ship Canal Bridge to South Center.
You were very worried. I remember you were talking about it.
Yeah, well, it was worse than I anticipated. And so when you say 2 hours, you could be in the mountains. I'm like, no, not really. You can be in South Center.
Clearly, I haven't been here long enough to know how long it takes to get right in the place.
Yeah. Now you could go from, the Mill Creek, Everett, you can go east on 2 and get to Stevens Pass and be in the mountains there. So you can do that. But yeah, Rainier might be an 8-hour journey for you if the traffic's not cooperating.
Depends on how early you leave, right? We usually leave at like
true.
6 in the morning, right? So that helps a little bit.
Okay. All right. Have you been to have you come over to Eastern Washington at all?
No. Have not.
You should check out Eastern Washington. You wine country, you mentioned Woodinville, which is great, but you should go to Walla Walla, check out Walla Walla's wine scene. Really, really great wines coming out of Walla Walla. Great food there too, and for it's got some really interesting places to eat. But Eastern Washington's nothing like Western Washington. It's dry desert. Let me see. I'll look at my phone just because I can. What's the temperature there today in your area?
It is currently 77.
Yeah, so it's 93 here today.
Oh, no.
And in tomorrow, we're looking at 95, 100 again. Yeah, it gets hot here.
Yeah.
It's hot, and we get a lot of snow during the winter. It's quite nice. We get real seasons without humidity, so it's dry. Okay.
I will definitely need to check it out.
Yes, you should, and you should go to Chelan too. You'd probably really enjoy going up to Lake Chelan. It's another wonderful area. All right, so I have I learned a new. So I have this get out of jail free card question, which is, what didn't we talk about that we should have? Like, what didn't I ask you that we should have talked about? So we're going to come back to that one. I've got a new one I'm trying out. Cake or pie, and why?
Pie. I'm going with pie.
Okay.
Cake is a little too sweet, right? And I love fruits.
Okay. Okay.
And pie is, what I've grown up with, right? Around holidays.
What type of pie then?
Apple pie.
Okay. Hot or cold?
Hot. I will apple pie a la mode any day.
Okay, great. Perfect. No judgment. It was really, somebody asked me that question and I'm like, I really haven't thought about it like that. The and why part is like, now it's getting philosophical. I'm not sure that I've ever thought about pie or cake in a philosophical way. Like, why? Okay, I agree. Cake can be a little too sweet. All right. What didn't I ask you that I should have asked you?
What some people like to ask me is, why did I not start a Polish pop-up? I have had that a lot.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, I don't think I would do it justice, right? I am Polish, and I have grown up with Polish food, but I do think that I gravitate more towards cuisines like Mexican and Italian, right? Because I will say that Polish food isn't very flavorful. But I'm not flavorful, but like, there's not a lot of pepper, like there's no Polish people have never heard of cumin. They've never heard of coriander. They've never heard of like cilantro. Like that to them is just unique, you know?
Exotic.
Exotic for
yeah.
sure. So yeah, people do ask me that, and I love it, but it's not for me.
So snapping my fingers, you've just opened a Polish pop-up. What would the menu look like?
You would need pierogi, which are Polish dumplings, right? Mm-hmm. You would also need cabbage rolls, right? Stuffed cabbage rolls. You would need, it's called bigos. Bigos is it's like a cabbage stew, right? With tomato, like a tomato base, some sausage. What else? Something with mashed potatoes, right? Mashed potatoes are very big. They're actually, that's one of the Polish dumplings. One of the biggest Polish dumplings has mashed potato and caramelized onion in it.
Okay.
You could even just start like a pierogi pop-up. That's all you would really need to do.
Okay. All right. I think you made a better choice with tacos.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you did. I think tacos is a good. Tacos are amazing. I mean, let's be honest. Tacos are amazing. They transcend. Yeah, they're just. I love watching the food shows on Netflix that have the English subtitles and they're all speaking Spanish about tacos or Latino Mexican food. Have you seen some of those? I was watching an episode the other day where what they're calling, but they're taking Doritos basically and they're cutting the bag open and then adding salsa and just making these crazy dishes. I don't know what it was called, but and then they're talking about street tacos and yeah. Just
Have you ever had a Frito Pie?
I have. Somebody calling it that, but that's like saying I had, pizza and I went to Domino's.
So that's
not sure this. I'm not sure it's the right. It might have been an interpretation.
Yeah.
How's that? Okay.
That's definitely also an Austin staple, right? It's topped with some chili, some green onions, some sour cream. Honestly, sometimes you could find brisket on there.
Well, I mean, you really can't go wrong with brisket or bacon fat or bacon.
No,
I mean, really.
No.
Well, let's just be honest there. Yeah. Well, first off, thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Thank you.
Your food is delicious. I wish you continued success. Where can people find you online? Where should they, if they want to look up where you're going to be, where's your calendar? Where can people find you?
Best bet would be to find me on Instagram at goodmorning.tacos, or you can check out my website, goodmorningtacos.com.
Okay, excellent. Well, Kinga, thank you for being a guest.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Join us next time for another episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast.